Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our Board of Education meeting. We will begin with the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we're off and running. The Yankee game tonight, even though they're playing City Field, that's just in passing. And we have our administrative remarks. How are you doing tonight, Ms. Culligan?
Very well, thank you. Good
Welcome
evening.
aboard.
We had a very successful substitute teacher recruitment fair last week. We had 46 applicants, and I had 8 district administrators volunteer their time to assist with the interviews. Next week, I'm going to be meeting with Frontline Education. They provide our ASEP and My Learning Plan, and I'm going to be exploring with the technology team electronic personnel files. Next week, I'll be holding my first Human Resources Q&A, and the topic will be for the BTA. It will be on graduate and in-service credits. Instructional vacancies, we had a last-minute resignation of a .4 math position at Wells. We were fortunate to find a Brewster grad, Nina Stark, who will be recommended on the next board agenda to fill this position. Yeah,
We didn't think that was going to be too easy.
I know. Yeah, she's been studying in high school,
Yeah.
so under there.
Terrific.
And we continue to have a rotation of non-instructional vacancies. We have 5 resignations on the agenda tonight.
Thank you as always. Appreciate it. Hi, Mr. Carlson. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Good evening. We have our friends from Triton Construction here this evening to give us a construction update. As everyone's aware, we had an incredible amount of work take place over a 10-week period.
Yes, we have.
I'd like to thank our facilities department, our technology department, and the JFK staff for pulling together to make sure that we opened the building on time, which at some points during the summer was definitely a concern.
Yep.
Specifically, I'd like to thank Dr. Zamperlin, Mr. Conroy, Andy Bates, Kenny Lynch, Paul Taylor, John Hanson, Fred Camilli, Kevin Sawyer, who's also here from Triton, Jim Traylor, Bob Valdez, Emerson Segarra, Jennifer Piper, John Castellano. The amount of coordination that it took in those last 3 days to push and to get the building up and running, it's unexplainable. And we're going to ask Kevin and Fred to give us their best effort, but really to be able to explain the amount of work that took place in those three days is absolutely incredible. Our custodians, cleaners, and technology staff worked round the clock over that 3-day weekend. I popped in and out and saw, every time I was there, I saw a packed house full of contractors and our staff. It was absolutely incredible. And it's just a testament to Brewster and what we stand for. So I just want to thank everybody.
Sure. Thank you.
We also had a project over at CV Star that everyone seemed to have forgotten about. But certainly our staff did, and again, Dr. Young and Karen Kellogg, Troy Hamill, the entire CV Star family over there did a great job of really making it look easy in light of what was happening over at JFK. So with the opening of school, our transportation is running very smoothly, in my opinion, for the start of the school year. Typically what we tell parents is just be patient over the first several weeks. It takes a while for students to become familiar with the arrival and dismissal routines, and because of that, typically our buses are delayed for a long time over those first few weeks. But what we're seeing already is that the scheduled times are starting to normalize with the actual times, which is great. And from the conversations I've had with other school districts, they've been less than fortunate in that department. So I just want to thank Jack Cox and Mary Smith and all of our bus drivers and monitors for everything that they do each day. This is a thank you tour. So this summer we had a very busy summer also in terms of child nutrition. Kathy Ash, Meg Schatt, and our food service department, child nutrition department, put on a summer food service program, one operating at the St. Lawrence O'Toole School and another operating at Brewster High School to support our YMCA program and also the summer extended school year program for our special needs students. And we served 5,888 meals.
Holy cow. That's a federally granted program.
Right. So that was an incredible number when I saw that.
Sure is.
And I checked it twice. So it was accurate, 5,888 meals. So again, I just want to congratulate Kathy Kathy Ash, Night Chat, and the entire child nutrition department. A couple of budget items. It's a little early, but I figured I'd get it out there. The contribution rates for the ERS system, employee retirement system that applies to all of our non-instructional staff, non-certificated staff, bus drivers, cleaners, custodians, food service, et cetera, is actually decreasing. So the rate's decreasing again. I believe this is the 4th year in a row, so that's significant news for us. It's a 2.6% decrease in the rate, so we're excited about that. Also an update in the consumer price index, which is a part of our tax cap calculation.
Right.
And through the first 7 months of the year, the month ended August is not yet reported, but through July, the increase in consumer price index is 2.15%, which is going to put us on track if the next 5 months continue in the same manner, above 2% for the year. And we haven't seen 2% used as a factor since the 2013-14 year.
Right.
So good, encouraging budget news.
See how it goes.
And that concludes my comments for this evening.
Well, thank you so much. So far, so good. Ms. Gosh, how are you doing
Good
tonight?
evening, Dr. Jambor. I'm going to continue the thank you tour and this in terms of social emotional training. So at our opening superintendent's conference day, which seemed like a long time ago.
Sure does.
On August 30th, we had a group of educators who spearheaded the kicking off of our social emotional initiatives. So all K-5 staff met in the high school cafeteria to review Ruler, which, as you know, is a program from Yale University designed to improve emotional intelligence in our youngsters. So although many of our teachers already integrate the tenets of Ruler into their daily practice, there is a core Ruler team that will be assisting in the ongoing implementation and planning over the next few years. So I'd like to thank those members. We have Karen O'Brien, Ali Skeely, and John Conroy from JFK. At CV Star, we have Paul Solacci, Aaron Alvarez, and Karen Kellogg, and some district-wide staff. Helga Cluzette, our K-8 mental health counselor, as well as Josh LaFell, our assistant director of PPS. So those are members of the Ruler team, and we thank them for moving this important work forward. At the secondary level, all staff met in the high school performing arts center and were presented with statistics at both the local and the national level on mental health. And Paul Solacci led a presentation on COPE, as you know, our social emotional program at the secondary level. So I'd like to thank Paul, who now is serving in the CSE behaviorist role, for delivering that presentation, and for Kate Simmons, Giancarlo Mejia, our 9 through 12 mental health counselor, Henrietta Lodge, Danielle Sullivan, and Nikki Horler at the high school, as well as Joanna Biaggi, Nicole Vitale. Actually, Sweeney is now her married name. I have to get used to that. Helga Cluzette and Christian De Jesus at Wells Middle School. So this work is moving forward at an exciting pace. This Friday during PLC time, the COPE teachers at the secondary schools, the middle school teachers will be delivering COPE, as well as all high school teachers will be trained in COPE. So we plan on beginning that implementation at the end of the month.
Terrific. We look forward to that. Thank you so much for the update. Dr. Henning, how are you?
Great, Dr. Jambor, Board of Trustees. It's been an extraordinary beginning of the school year because of all of the wonderful construction that's underway. I mean, you'll hear that will sound like a broken record, but it truly is remarkable. Today we're reminded of the scope of the work that occurred this summer. We had an OACM meeting, and it's unheard of to have that amount of work occur in the school district. With one school that was, the 100,000 square feet of that school was completely, transformed. And so you're going to hear that from Kevin and Fred in terms of they're going to try to sort of give you a picture of the magnitude of that work, and it's really just a shining star for the school district, and they're extremely grateful to the taxpayers who allowed this and made it possible for us to reconstruct JFK, to provide, to add on 4 additional classrooms at CV Star, to install a lift, which is a door over here that you think has always been here. And it is the lift that allows anyone who's wheelchair bound to be able to enter in through this building from the front entrance, not the back where the gravel is, but the front entrance to get to this room, as well as upstairs if they need to do anything in the office upstairs. So it's just a real, it's a source of pride for the district. It may seem like a small thing, but it's a big deal to be able to fully, to provide access to anyone who wants to come to a board meeting or do anything in this building. But the work in general has just been remarkable. We should all be so proud of what's occurred, and most importantly, that our children have these amazing buildings to learn in. So it's a real, I think, a celebration of what it means to be a child in the school district. In terms of all the work that occurred with Dr. Zampel and Mr. Conroy, all the buildings and grounds and custodial staff, all the teachers who were working, and believe it or not, as late as Labor Day.
Mm-hmm.
There were teachers in JFK on Labor Day. So that is huge.
Yep.
And as well as staff, and they were there dusting. The last teacher I left, Ms. Monty, was spraying down her chairs, getting them ready for the children to sit in. She did not want the children sitting in any dusty chairs. So that's a testament. That's a real, I mean, that's a story where, you know, that really celebrates the pride that our teachers take in making sure that their classrooms are ready. And that, I'm sure that was across the district, but we know how close we were to the wire on getting JFK open. So, and all those teachers, Dr. Zampel and Mr. Conroy, everyone, Dr. Zampel was there as well on Labor Day, you know, making sure that everyone had what they needed. And I don't know, Frank, this year's gonna be pretty boring.
I'll sleep a little better.
I'm sure that you'll find some good things to do to fill that time, so thank you. Our student representative is not here tonight, but that's Julie Lewis. So when she comes on board, and we have her substitute student representative, Julia Villani, who you're going to love when you get to meet her if you haven't met her. And in terms of our personnel item that we're very proud of is we're adding 7 new bus drivers to our cadre of bus drivers. And as you know, that's been a struggle for us because we kind of went to a model where we had lots of part-time drivers and extremely challenging to manage for a lot of reasons. So I want to thank Victor and Kathy and Jack and Mary and Artie, the whole team, for making that possible. Because we do need to have maximum flexibility, and you recall from Jack's presentation the number of variances that Jack gets in any course of any year, the numbers of different stops that families request, and that Jack has the capacity to do that, and that's because we have, you know, a dedicated staff of drivers and monitors who make that possible. So this only makes the job a little bit easier for them. And I think in general, it's just been a great opening, and I want to thank the Board of Education for all your tireless work, because you've done a lot of work to make all of this possible. And, you know, celebrating, clarifying, and most importantly, advocating for the school district. So thank you very much for doing that.
Well, thank you to the entire team, really. Ours was the easiest piece, I'm sure. I want to change the tempo and the topic a little bit. And actually, Ms. Gosh and I did not discuss what we were going to be talking about tonight. It's a pure coincidence. I got my most recent copy of On Board, which is the professional journal that board people receive every 2 weeks. And I'm kind of proud, happy that the lead story is all about improving the social emotional support systems in schools for children. And they make no doubt about it. In fact, you'd be stupid to, because the fact of the matter is the data are overwhelming. 90% of New Yorkers think public schools should provide mental health services for students who don't have access to such services elsewhere. And as you know, we began this campaign just about a year ago to raise awareness first in Putnam, in Westchester. And we had a big meeting down in Irvington last September to begin it. And then we just kept rolling, and we finished up the year as far as this campaign was concerned, upstate in Latham, where the headquarters are, and we were drawing folks in from all sorts of agencies around the whole state to impress upon everyone the need for more social emotional support for children, which obviously I strongly believe in. But at the same time, it's my job to be very truthful with you about a couple of things that are going on. One of them has to do with money. And all the money in the world won't make people mentally healthful. I'm not going there with this. But I think we do have a problem here. If systematically, since 2008, when everything crashed and the economy just flipped upside down, we, public schools, in order to survive, systematically started cutting things. You may have noticed. How could you not? So class sizes increased, right? And also support personnel were among the first to go, meaning counselors, psychologists, social workers, and the like. And none of us in our right mind would ever have chosen to do that in 2008, 9, 10, or all the way up to now. But the fact of the matter is, your schools, in my opinion, are dreadfully understaffed in terms of the psychological, social, emotional support services that they need. And I applaud people who are trying to build it into the normal capacity of the system, meaning put it there for every child. Don't wait till there's an emergency. That's too late, okay? Put it in K-12, absolutely. The sooner you start, the better. All the right stuff. But my point is this, and without sounding angry or paranoid, our legs were cut out from underneath us. And there's not a professional in this room or any of the rooms in the 54 districts in these 2 counties that would have agreed to this if somebody had asked them, do you want to cut a social worker? Sure, cut my artery while you're at it, okay? So now, support services are down, monies are not being allocated because they are building the basic operation of schools, and the need is going through the ceiling. I don't need to convince you of that, I won't waste time on that. So we have a terrific collision of things going on where I'd love to have a conversation with someone who matters at the top level of this pyramid. How do you figure to fix this? How do you figure to fix it? And I'm starting the conversation tonight here because it's going to have a budgetary impact. And there's no sense sneaking up on it. If we nod our heads and agree that the kids' needs are vital, and it goes beyond reading, writing, and arithmetic on the 4 C's that I keep talking about, and it does involve caring or coping, makes no difference to me, we're going to have to ante up. We're going to have to pay for this. And we better start talking about it now, because I don't want shell shock come March. You know, I'm openly inviting the board, the community to talk about it. There shall be no secrets with this, but I think it's a top line agenda item. And we have to figure out how we're going to address it, basically, and it is going to cost you money. I think our kids are worth it, though. Moving on to a more optimistic and positive note. Triton, tell us the good news.
Thank you very much, everybody. Good evening, for allowing me to talk about your construction project. I'm here tonight to inform the board about successfully opening all of the school additions and renovations that we had planned. So congratulations to all. I could thank every single one, but I think a lot of people have done that already. But as I've been here before and done this on a number of occasions, I've always said that it takes a village, and I'm very proud to be part of the Brewster team because from the top level all the way down, you guys have always been positive. You've always had one direction that's always been up, and when the rubber hit the road, everybody was always there to do what they need to do to benefit the kids. So I applaud all of you, the community, and everybody who works for the district for everything that they've done. It's very difficult for me to describe in a short period of time all the activities, the construction activities that have taken place over the past 8 weeks, since March, when we really started jumping on the additions at JFK, and all the other projects that are rolled into it. But tonight, we put together a little progress report, and I thought the best way for us to kind of discuss it would be just throwing out some factors. Some things that I think it might help people to better understand the sense of the work that took place. It was an incredible task to do this. We knew that going in. You guys knew that going in. You guys backed us when we moved forward.
You could just click and it'll play out.
Okay. And I appreciate all all the backing that the board and the staff has given us to do this. So, you had a district-wide construction project. It's not just JFK, but JFK was a big part of it. And we touched on a number of different areas within the building, within all the buildings, with the exception of Wells had gotten a generator, but not a lot more since we had such a large bond project not too long ago at that school. So some factoids. At CV Star, we built a classroom addition on the back. The classroom addition was about 6,700 square feet. It housed, but we also did work in the existing building over the summer. We took out all of the unit ventilators and replaced them. 32 of them, providing heat pumps that provided AC and heating, emergency generator power, which we also did at Wells. Existing 3,000 square feet of asphalt playground has been resurfaced and paved. Hallways, tie-ins, first and second floor, new additions have been successfully completed. New fire alarm functions and security functions, and we have now all of your buildings have an incredible, up-to-date security program, top to bottom, including your fields, right? Your field out there. So, CV Star by no means was a small project. It took a lot of people to work that out during the school year. I appreciate the help that we and support we got in order to get in there to actually physically build that while you're going through your educational process. Came out great. We're in a punchless process. There are some minor things that we'll have to finish up over the course of the next month or so. We'll get to all of them, all the issues and concerns. But that was a great project. Before I talk about JFK, I also want to mention we put in about 1,600 feet of new water line, which basically goes from one end of your district property to the other, because all your wells are up by Wells. I don't think those two are connected at all. And goes all the way down to JFK, and then ties into the services that were put in the 80s or so over for the high school. That itself was a huge project because it affects the water supply for the buildings. It had to be done very, very carefully to make sure that the service was always provided through the summer for all the people who work for all your 12-month staff. It did have some hiccups along the way, which we were able to work out. And those things happened. But again, the flexibility of the district made it happen. So I'm very, very happy for that getting done. Also, we put in a concession stand, which I saw it being used the other day. It was fantastic. Everybody was enjoying it. It looks great.
Yep.
I think it was one of the first projects that we started in like 2007 that we wanted, and we finally got it, so we're glad to see it. So JFK, obviously we started with additions, the additions of the 6 classrooms, as well as an extension of what's now your library, your cafeteria, which came out beautifully, and then new access points to your auditorium. 25,000 square foot of DAT, which is asbestos top. So we took a lot of asbestos out of the building. The building is virtually asbestos free at this point, including all the pipe wrap, including all the window caulk, the door caulk. It's out. That all started on June 24th. Okay. Then we took out all the old floors. We took out all the old ceilings. We took out all the piping, PA, FA, fire alarm, and windows, and started replacing them. So 45,000 square feet of existing ceilings were removed and replaced. Also added some soffits for some future planned work. 280 different types of light fixtures have been wired installed. 40 HVAC units throughout the building, air conditioning, rooftop units. There's a whole array of heat pumps on the building now, so you virtually have an entirely new heating system in that building, end to end. 355 windows. I think they're great and provide a lot more light than the old ones do, and a lot more fresh air. And the entire security systems were replaced, 34 cameras, door access, and monitors. Plus, we moved security towards the front, from the right at the front entrance. So much more user-friendly. The spaces inside are beautiful. And again, very flexible. I think it's met the design intent that the district had, the vision that the board and the district had, and the design intent that KGB had. So I have some photos, and again, not going to be able to do you a lot of justice because you really have to appreciate that none of this was here 6 weeks ago. Okay? New floors, new ceiling, new lighting, new main office entirely. We took out the old main office, moved a few walls around, put it all back together again, there it is, right? What you're looking at there is your cafeteria extension, all right? No more pipes in the middle of your cafeteria, the columns that were there, these horrible columns, they're gone. That was not an easy task, man.
Nope.
And I can tell you, and it came out absolutely beautiful. Hallways, clean and bright, light, airy, they feel fresh. I'm not the architect here, but I gotta tell you, well done, well deserved. The rotunda, I love it myself personally. I think it's almost higher education like when you walk in there. This could be on a college campus. Okay. And I love the way you set up the grades. This is the highest of the grades, appreciating some of the larger spaces, what they are. So well done. Here's some of your classrooms. These are the new classrooms in the 6th classroom edition. And then the roundhouse has been almost entirely gutted out. New library in the back there. And the innovation space, which is almost completed. There are some things that we haven't finished 100%. And innovation space is one of them. But that is going to be coming online very shortly. Here's some more pictures of the addition and how that works. Great use of space here. You can see the little rolling cubbies, which took them out of the classrooms and gave the classrooms more space. Great idea. All right. And CV Star, here's your new addition to CV Star. Very simple, staircase, four classrooms on, 2 on the top, 2 on the bottom. Okay. And that's it for the pictures. But I do encourage people to go down and look. Walk the building, ask for a tour, because you have a beautiful building there. I will say that there are some things that have to be finished. The auditorium being one of them. We made a decision in the middle of the summer to back away from the auditorium to make sure that we could get all of the classrooms done so that you could occupy school. It was a good decision. And we will get the auditorium done, in the next upcoming months. Okay? And if anybody has any questions, I'll be happy to answer them. If not, I thank you very much for your time. Congratulations on the success of this project and your beautiful building.
Don't want to be critical, but you left out one important factoid.
What was that?
That Triton, KG&D, and Brewster have been an absolutely terrific partnership. This is our second successful big bond construction project with this team. And it's no accident. I think you guys come professionally prepared. Different faces occupy the seats over the years, but the level of consistency in your support and dedication to making our vision happen is deeply appreciated.
I thank you very much. It's been a pleasure working here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Okay.
What he said.
We move our attention now to our action items, of which there are about 7, I think. So the first action item concerns the approval of memorandums, Latin, was my thing, of agreement with private schools.
I'll take this one.
Thank you, Ms. Gosh.
So these are annual MOAs with two private schools
True.
within our catchment area, and have to do with the disbursement of Title I and Title IIA funds. So again, these are the same contracts that we've had for the last several years.
Okay, you're right, this is an annual thing. So we'll take a motion for your consideration of this item. Thank you, Ms. Kakal and Ms. Nielsen. Questions or comments from the board? Seeing none, all those in favor? The motion passes 7-0. Action item number 2 concerns the approval of the MOA with the clerical chapter of the BTA, and that would have to be Ms. Culligan.
Yes, I'm happy to report that the district and the clerical chapter of the BTA have reached a contract agreement. The terms and conditions are as we discussed in executive session on August 22nd, and with your approval, this will extend the contract through 2021.
Sounds good. So we'll take a motion, please, for your consideration of this important action item. Thank you, Ms. O'Brien. Thank you, Glenn. Questions or comments from the board? Seeing none, all those in favor? Motion passes 7-0. Action item number 3 concerns the approval of contract for A, the MS4 / New York State DEP Compliance Engineering Services, B, the revised School Resource Officer Services, and C, the wastewater treatment plant operation services, oh, and there's a D too, the stack processing services. And that would be Mr. Carlson.
Yes. The MS4 is a required report that we prepare for the DEP. We annually have to update our storm water pollution prevention plan as a
Yep.
requirement of DEP, and we ask our friends Insight Engineering to assist us in that. The Putnam County has revised our SRO contract due to personnel changes. We have a new SRO attending JFK Elementary School, Brian Supa, replacing Charlie Wilson, who was with us last year.
Okay?
The wastewater treatment plant operator contract is a contract that we have to manage our wastewater facility, which is over by the high school. Again, it's a requirement of having a wastewater plant, and also it's required by DEP. Finally, we have a contract for stack processing services, and stack is an acronym for System to Track and Account for Children, and it's a consultant service that we use to submit data to the New York State Education Department in order for us to be reimbursed through state aid for our public and non-public access costs for students.
Sounds pretty complete. So we'll take a motion, please, for your consideration of this action item, 4 parts. Thank you, Sonia. Thank you, Kerry. Yes. Questions or comments from the board concerning these matters? Seeing none, all those in favor? Motion passes 7-0. Action item number 4 concerns the acceptance of a donation for the athletic department and the approval of budget amendment number 2. Again, Mr. Carlson.
Yes, the Town of Southeast Recreation Department, we thankfully were the recipients of a donation to purchase some realistic straight tilt backboards for our tennis courts. And Mr. Bardo is recommending that the board accept this donation.
Terrific. Okay, so we'll take a motion from the board concerning this matter. Thank you, Kristen. Thank you, Mary Kay. Questions or comments from the board?
Brainer one.
Yeah, take the money.
Take the money.
Take the money.
Well, you never know. There might be some controversy.
You know, I don't like tennis, but that's okay.
All right, so we have the motion. It's been seconded. All those in favor? Motion passes 7-0. Action on item number 5 concerns the approval of instructional service contracts. A, Carmel Central School District for extended school year. B, Bedford for the 10-month program. And that again would be Ms. Culligan. No.
I'll take this.
Okay,
This
thank
is, these are recommended by our Director of Pupil Personnel. They've been reviewed by our attorneys and are being asked for your approval this evening.
Sure, that makes sense. Okay, so we'll take a motion, please, for your consideration of this action item. Thank you again, Glenn and Diane. Questions or comments from the board? Seeing none, all those in favor? Motion passes 7-0. Action item number 6, the approval to dispose of district property, namely JFK office furniture Mr. Carlson.
Yeah, and with the beautiful construction, JFK is requesting that we dispose of the old desks that were in the main office.
I guess so, huh?
Since
They- they-
1960.
They wouldn't fit. They wouldn't fit.
There's no sentimental favorites there? All right, so we'll take a motion, please, for your consideration of dumping the property. Thank you, Kristen and Mary Kay. Questions or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor, wave goodbye to the furniture. Action item number 7, look at all those policies. You can see them and read the numbers as well as me. We'll take a motion, please, for your consideration of the approval of all these numbers, policies. Thank you, Diane and Sonia. Questions or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor, motion passes 7-0. Coming down the home stretch, looking at number 8, the approval of a district-wide code of conduct. This is important. Ms. Gosh.
As the board remembers, we had a public hearing on our district-wide code of conduct in August. The next morning, we had a Google form placed on our website
Yep.
asking for public comment. We did not receive any public comment.
Okay.
The draft that you have for your approval incorporates some of the feedback from Ms. Masika at our last meeting that clarified some language on pages 11 and 12, and that has been vetted by our attorney as well.
So it sounds like a very detailed process. Okay, so having said that, we'll take a motion, please, for your consideration of the district-wide code of conduct. Thank you, Diane. Thank you, Mary Kay. Questions or comments from the board? Seeing none, all those in favor? The motion passes 7-0. Move your attention down to the consent agenda. Take a motion for that, please. Thank you, Mary Kay. Bring it back over here to Diane. Questions or comments from the board? Yes, ma'am.
I was looking for that. Just to clarify, modified sports refers to middle school sports? Is that always,
Yes.
it's always
Usually, yep.
just because something here said modified, but it said high school, BHS. If I
Most
read it correct,
usually
I
it-
could have read it incorrectly.
Mr. Barato can correct us, but I think modified sports occur in the middle school.
That's correct, yeah, grade 7 and 8.
That's
All
it?
right, hold on, I want to see where I saw it. Does it matter that it might be wrong here?
Well, it's corrected if it's.
Hold on, I'll find it. There's middle school sports or,
Oh, I think it's number 4, ball coaching assignment. Mary Beth Powers, volleyball modified, it says
and
BHS.
soccer.
Well,
And soccer.
That means
Stop.
that she,
The assignment
they're
is
reporting to me, that's what my office is essentially,
Okay, I didn't know if it mattered that
no.
it didn't say WMS. Okay, that's fine. Didn't want it to be later, oh, it's the wrong school and then
No.
someone can't coach.
Totally.
Thank you for noticing. Any other questions or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor? Consent agenda is adopted. We move on to board remarks. The floor is open for your comments, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you to the Southeast Rec for their donation.
Sure.
Didn't get a chance to say thank you.
Absolutely. No, that's appreciated.
dovetailing off what you brought up in your president's remarks, I had the privilege of attending emotional wellness session conducted by Dr. Jambor and Dr. Sandbank. And what I found very important about that is this is a workshop designed for board members. So, you know, teachers understand it, you know, clinical workers understand it, you guys in the school understand it, but when someone comes to a board and we're responsible for tax dollars, you know, we need to make sure that we've got information so that we can make the right decisions. So that was eye-opening, and I was very grateful to have attended that. So,
Thank you very much.
so it's very important to be showing boards across the state how important that issue is.
So a lot of people deserve the credit. really.
Yeah, there were,
Namely NISBA,
NISBA.
for choosing to do the Board Officers Academy around that theme this year. And actually Putnam Northern Westchester BOCES is a major partner in what's going to happen next. The theory is real simple. It probably works best if the board at the top of the pyramid is gung-ho in favor of this stuff and knowledgeable of it.
Yeah.
So we decided to go after that because that was left out up till now in all of these movements. So thank you for attending, thank you for speaking to it.
I just wanted to say thank you in particular. I know there was a thank you tour tonight that I'm going to participate in, but to Dr. Z and the teachers, because JFK
looks amazing. And I had the chance, my little guy's in K, and the rooms, you know, just doing a walk through the rooms during a meet and greet, you wouldn't even have known that they didn't have a chance to get ready over the summer
Yeah.
because they got things on the walls, the
Yeah.
desks were perfect, the name tags were out, and it really was quite phenomenal considering where the school was, you know, just a couple of weeks before that. So, so thank you to you and your staff on that. That was really quite spectacular. And the other thing I wanted to bring up, I know I had put an email out that I could take the K open house and the 4th grade open house to speak. Harry, I know you're 4th grade as well, so you and I can tag team.
I can do modified or high school too, though.
Okay, so I didn't know if we were going to try to
Not
figure that.
modified, middle school.
Okay.
I had, what Kristen is referring to, during our retreat, we discussed just kind of introducing the board at open houses. And if that's something that we wanted to do, and the reason we bring it up is tomorrow there's an open house.
Sure.
So, and Thursday, you know, so we're hitting the ground running. We can do this, is this something, Valerie, that,
Oh,
Is
yes,
there
the
time for-
principals are already ready. All they need to know is who's coming.
who's coming? Okay, so the most important, I mean, tomorrow is CV Star grade 3. Kristen has CV Star grade 4 on Thursday. Like, those are the most pressing, everything else we can finish in an email, but if someone could be there tomorrow.
I'll be there. I can wear 2 hats tomorrow because I'll be there anyway.
Could you be there? Yeah, I mean, for us, just a second to say hello and,
But that was the next question. So, so we're all just kind of saying that, you know, not that we can say the same thing, just on the same page as
Yeah.
to what message or what our intention for being there is.
I think just to introduce the board, you know, just to say hello, when you think, and if you would like to contact the board, BOE@brewsterschools.org, the superintendent, hello, you know, just so that people know, because do they know, remember Carrie, you were
I think
speaking,
we should even give a brief, what is the school board?
what do we
Because
do?
What is the school board, what does it do, who's on it, and not name by name, but, you know, parents, you know, community members, and, that our meetings are, you know, twice a month on Tuesdays, and that the public is invited to attend and encouraged to attend, and that it's, you know, a way to be informed about what is going on at the schools, to be accurately informed.
I think that's simple and not to
Yeah.
take away from the open house. In and out in a minute, you're done.
That's fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
Okay, so, just like I said, I could do an email to get us all online, but for tomorrow, we've got Sonia, and Thursday, we've got Krista. Okay, so then you expect an email tomorrow morning.
Great.
Bright and early.
Bright and early tomorrow morning, usually it's 5 a.m., so.
There was one thing that came up tonight, earlier today, when we were at the policy committee meeting about the district-wide code of conduct, to make sure that the public understands that it's not replacing each school's code of conduct. It's more of an umbrella over, so that, and I know we were talking about possibly getting that word out, so I just figured so that the public understands this isn't replacing anything. It is just clarifying on the district level what the code of conduct is, and how it will filter down through the policies and through each individual school's code of conduct. One doesn't supersede the other.
Okay.
And they're not in conflict with each other.
No,
Right.
they're not, and and the district-wide code of conduct is required by law. So, we're not reinventing the wheel, we're following the proper practice.
Okay, good point. Any board comments, questions? Okay, thank you. So we'll move on then to public remarks and information. The floor is yours, somewhere over in that vicinity there.
How are you? I was just going to add, since you're going to be introducing yourselves, board members introducing yourselves at the schools, include the fact that you're elected, unpaid positions, because people don't understand that.
There you go.
They don't. So as long as you're out there, as long as you're marketing yourselves, just throw that part out there.
Thank you.
At least somebody's paying attention.
Unfortunately, I pay too much attention. I'm more annoying on the other
I
side.
don't know. No, it's good to have you at these meetings. Any other comments from the public? Welcome back, Bertie.
Thank you.
I know.
I like being over here.
That's where the cool kids sit.
It's an even better seat to have in March. Okay, well, I guess we're set to go unless you have another motion.
Do
See, this is why Birdie's in a better seat now.
I'd like to make a motion to adjourn to executive session for the few things, sorry. We have a meeting with our attorney to discuss student services,
Okay?
and we also have an internal audit discussion.
Okay,
I think that might be it.
that's enough. All right, so that's the motion. I need a second, Diane. Thank you very much. All those in favor? They can go watch the Yankee game. We have to go back to work.